Okay, so today I'm going to cover a little throwback case. Okay, this was a case that was really popping, not even a case really, but just a little drama that was popping a few weeks ago that I didn't really have time to look into. But, we've all had some time to kind of look into it now, reflect on it. And I just wanted to do a little update on this whole crazy beef between DJ Envy from The Breakfast Club and Dame Dash, everybody's favorite. I don't even want to call him a business shark, a business magnate. I don't want to go as far as to call him a business failure, but I would say Dame Dash is probably the last person I would ever want to go into business with, all right? I've heard all these reports. He was going to start a podcast with Adam22 at a certain point. Adam was like, bruh, I don't think this is going to work out. Dame Dash is just too much of a hot mess for me to go into business with, okay? But essentially, there's been a crazy back and forth with DJ Envy of The Breakfast Club. You know DJ Envy, the legendary Breakfast Club host, the legendary B-Mike, you know what I'm saying, the B-Team, BJ Envy. Maybe not BJ Envy, okay? Let's strike that from the record. DJ Envy, okay, he's done his thing, okay? He be running shit over at he don't really be running shit over The Breakfast Club. So with a passion for music, DJ Envy started spinning at the age of 16. Not that kind of spinning, okay? But as he perfected his craft, he quickly began gaining recognition as he evolved into one of the most notable DJs over the years. DJ Envy travels city to city, connecting with fans nationwide, hosted some of the hottest clubs and events, reigning from Queens, New York. DJ Envy set out to pursue his dreams while becoming a role model and philanthropist. He soon began contributing back to his fans' community by teaching generational wealth and providing paid opportunities for other DJs. Pay close attention to this, all right? Giving back to his community and his fans by teaching generational wealth. Okay, we're going to learn a little bit more about how he went about that, okay? But look, he's been very successful, okay? He's killed it. He's on iHeartMedia's Breakfast Club, over 4 million monthly listeners. Or is that even 4 million daily listeners in 80 plus? I don't know I don't know what period of time that many listeners he's getting are, but they're pretty serious, right? He's got his own podcast on YouTube. He's got platforms with his wife, the Casey Crew, you know what I'm saying? He's a best-selling author. Alongside his wife, they published a book together called Real Life, Real Love, all right? He was striving to teach people how to get out of the hood, live the lifestyle of your dreams virtuously, okay? He went to Hampton University. He's got 6 kids. He's skillfully balancing work life home effortlessly while supporting his community. Now, I wonder who wrote this little bio here. I'm not going to lie to you. For several years now, he's launched his Drive Your Dreams car show events, which started at Lincoln Tech campus and now span multi-city arenas and convention centers with hundreds of cars and entertainment, okay? He's a businessman, a family man, lover of the culture, car enthusiast, actor, entertainment industry leader, all right, with a powerful voice reaching various demographics across the country. He's a very successful man, okay, and just don't forget this, all right, he's teaching the community, where is it, generational wealth and providing paid opportunities. Forget the paid opportunities, we're talking about this generational wealth, okay. He tapped in with a guy who created a whole lot of problems, unfortunately for him, okay. He tapped in with this guy called Cesar Cesar Pina, all right. He tapped in with this gentleman, okay. I can't lie, when the LinkedIn photo looks a little bit too much like a mugshot, you might want to leave a wide berth, man. You might want to stay out of it, okay? Because I can't tell if that's a LinkedIn photo or a mugshot from the state penitentiary, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Cesar Pina started his real estate journey early 2006. That's a pretty crazy time to start your real estate journey with 2008 popping. But hey, he made it through. He's made a name for himself, giving inspiration and motivation to others who want to invest their money. All right, building generational wealth. Now, here is where we get the crossover. Cesar Pina partnered with DJ Envy of Power 105.1 fame in 2018 and started touring to create seminars for people who want to learn the real estate business. The seminars took place across the tri-state area, and Cesar has been featured on The Breakfast Club. No doubt, DJ Envy lined that one up, okay? Good Morning America and Billboard Magazine, okay? And you can contact him to actually book him to come and talk at your event. All right, and other top speakers and celebrities, okay? So he is a real estate mogul and an urban investor, all right? He tapped in, okay? He tapped in with DJ Envy and things, unfortunately, did go left. But I'm going to give you all of the backstory, okay? Cesar Pina, okay, with his LinkedIn/mugshot profile photo there, he apparently learned about real estate in the strangest of places, all right? He learned about real estate when he was living in accommodation provided by the state in the penitentiary, okay? So this is a little bit of interesting backstory about how Cesar Pina got his start, okay? Let's see this.
Into a positive. So when I was in prison, there was a guy, his name is Renee, which to this day, he's my big brother.
Yeah.
He was a big real estate developer in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Yep.
He was one of the first guys that invested in Hoboken when Hoboken was urban. And then, of course, Hoboken is probably one of the most expensive places in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So he went in. He had a charge for political corruption. he's never been in prison before. I taught him how to bid, and he taught me about real estate.
Wait, when you say bid, what is a bid?
I told him how, to kind of taught him how everything worked in prison.
Right, just kind of the politics.
Yeah, the politics, the right thing to do. Don't cut nobody on the phone. Don't cut nobody on the chow line.
Right.
Don't sit here. Don't sit. Stuff like that. Watch TV and this TV.
You were like
that TV.
You were like his big homie in jails.
Yeah. Even though like I was for white collar crime, so I was in a camp, so it wasn't that serious.
Right.
But there's still rules.
There's still rules everywhere. Yeah.
There's rules like everywhere else.
So he went in for white collar crime, man. He taught the guy how to move on a yard, and in exchange, the guy taught him how to move in the real estate market, man. And I've heard it from a lot of people before. Sometimes you go to prison, okay, and you basically go to the Academy for Criminality. All right, people go to prison, they learn how to do different hustles, different finesses, how to get away with their crimes. It's damn near like they go to prison. It's damn near like prison criminal school. Okay, and that's no disrespect to anybody that's been in prison, but you meet a lot of other people in there. You find out how they got there. You find out how they navigate, how they move, how they beat cases. And you end up learning. He learned the real estate game from prison, possibly a reason why things ultimately didn't work out so well. But he started this organization called Flipping New Jersey, which has actually been removed from social media. That's crazy. Has that just been removed in the last 2 days since we did this research? That's crazy. What? I mean, this was his account, Flipping New Jersey, Flipping NJ, but it has seemingly been taken down. But basically, you can see this was his thing, Flipping New Jersey. Okay, he's done interviews with Flipping NJ. This is his whole thing, all right? People saying it's got exposed, his defense unraveled, all right? They had posts on the Facebook, which is still up, but it's not been active in like 4 years, enticing people to join their VIP buyers list. But unfortunately, this was eventually exposed by the state as a scam, okay? It says New Jersey real estate investor and online influencer charged with multi-million-dollar investment fraud scheme. And then this section here, it says started in 2017, Pina began accepting investments from victim investors for the alleged purchase, remodel, and sale of specific real estate projects in New Jersey and other states. To induce his victims, Pina often promised 20 to 45% returns on investment within 5 months. Now, look, I'm an investor myself. I don't really invest in property. I've owned property. I don't own property currently. But you ain't getting no 20 to 45%. You ain't getting no 20 to 45% in the stock market, all right? You got to be Nancy Pelosi to be getting those sorts of investment returns in the stock market, all right? Let alone this dude in New Jersey saying that he's going to flip houses. And 20 to 45% in 5 months? It's not happening, all right? You're better off putting your money in Enron. But instead of using victims' investments as promised, Pina engaged in a Ponzi-like scheme by co-mingling victim money using new victim investments to pay off prior victims and spending victim funds on personal expenditures. The investigation revealed that Pina defrauded dozens of investors of millions of dollars. Now, look, we ain't condoning no Ponzi schemes over here, right? I'm going to get on my CoffeeZilla for a second. But at the same time, if you get in the pyramid scheme early, you might come up. Some people probably did get their 20 to 45% returns off the back of the next people that lost all their money, all right? This is how these pyramid scheme works, okay? The new people, they join, they pay their dues, and the people above them get paid out. They get the returns that they were promised. But eventually, okay, the music stops. There ain't enough chairs to sit on, all right? And it's basically over with, all right? People are getting cooked. People are getting straight up cooked by these pyramid-style schemes, okay? And unfortunately, all right, I'm going to pull this up in a different document here because I believe that this has probably been removed. But essentially, okay, it was in 2018, July 21st, 2018, that DJ Envy actually himself ended up making posts about flipping New Jersey, okay? He did this post, right? This is my little document about this. Got all my links. It says, this is one of my Detroit properties. We paid $17K for it 4 years ago. Houses on the same block are now selling for $350K right now. When I was younger, a new Benz or a new watch would impress me or give me the motivation. Now it's buying real estate. A couple of weeks ago, Nit DeGrit introduced me to a guy named Caesar, flipping New Jersey, that invests in New Jersey real estate. He looks like us, listens to the same music, dresses like us, and is from the same place as us. He just had the vision of real estate before any one of us did. Where'd he get that vision, man? Got that in the pen, man. That's not a good sign. All right. He owns over 500 units in New Jersey. That motivates me. Having conversations with him about real estate motivates me. That's what makes me want to work harder. He set up a business so that his kids and his family can eat long term. Okay. So DJ Envy is enticing people, right? He's posting this to his millions of followers. And that, when it all fell apart, that would be a bad look. So they ended up actually going into partnership and co-promoting this whole mess. All right. There's a picture of DJ Envy and Cesar Pina seen in promotional videos for their real estate investment seminars. And a lot of this has been scrubbed from the internet. Okay, there's a lot. He's already got Trap whacked out, so he already knows what it is. But there's a whole lot of links related to this that are not available anymore. Instagram, they've been trying their best to scrub all of this from the internet. And essentially, man, this is all just a very, very bad look. Okay. So look, here's one of the promotional videos where they're together promoting this whole thing, all right?
What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy.
Flipping that Jay?
Join us July 31st right here at the Jacob Javits Center. We're doing a real estate seminar talking everything real estate from Airbnb to wholesaling to flipping. Not only that, you can partner with us on some deals. Make some money with us, your partner. And we'll see you July 31st.
I said us, all right? Make some deals, go into partnership with us, all right? Not him. I'm not promoting this. Not me. I'm not independent. This is us. We came together. We're doing this. And apparently, okay, they had joint bank accounts. Somebody said in this article, it says somebody claimed we have bank account statements that show that these two had multiple joint bank accounts earning at least $330,000 through 2021 from their joint statement alone, okay? We anticipate when we get complete bank records through discovery, there will be more evidence in that department, okay? Yeah. Says in 2018, Envy begun hosting real estate seminars with Pina, who nicknamed himself Flipping NJ. He and Pina brought property in New Jersey together, and Envy used the social media platforms he built through the Breakfast Club to promote their investment enterprise while gaining millions of followers. Hopeful investors paid $100 to $200 to attend seminars in New Jersey, New York, and other states like Florida and Nevada that Pina and Envy touted as educational, but recent federal lawsuits are alleging were used as funnels to draw in victims for the defendant's scam, okay? Advertising was done heavily on the radio through 105.1 New York broadcast station, Envy show The Breakfast Club, as well as through billboards and other radio stations. Okay, so look, he was tied up in this whole thing. And unfortunately for DJ Envy, people began to get wind of what was going on. And as early as August 2019, okay, there was a comedian, an actress, what's her name, Yamanika Saunders, and she jokingly called out DJ Envy on The Breakfast Club all the way back then about all this stuff, making jokes about the seminars being scams and him finessing the audience, basically, man. This is great. Pull him out as a joke, right? But she basically jokes about his seminars also being scams in this whole thing, okay? So she kind of shot. She kind of knows. He's trying to make sure that people don't get got. But then she's saying, you the one getting fools, all right? So apparently only a month after that interview went down, there was another scandal that was brewing, okay? And DJ Envy had allegedly, all right, been part of this deal enticing two men to invest almost $2 million. It's about $1.5 million, okay, into basically investing into an old school and turning it into apartments, all right? And this is like, you know, 4 years later when the case is actually, you know, being called out publicly. But at the time, okay, they're saying that they were enticed to invest a lot of money and things didn't go the way they were supposed to. It says a New Jersey real estate investor couple influenced a couple and a well-known radio DJ at the center of a lawsuit claiming they conned two men into investing $1.5 million into apartments in Paterson, New Jersey with no results to show for it. It says Anthony Barone, right? Sounded like some of these Sopranos guys. And Anthony Martini filed a suit in a state superior court seeking a number of damages. The lawsuit says that they invested into a 50-unit apartment building project on Main Street in Paterson. The pair says that it was Caesar and his wife disappeared, taking their money and leaving them with nothing to show for their investments, okay? And the phone number for his one-on-one real estate consultation business didn't even have voicemail set up. The suit says that in 2018, Barone heard radio personality DJ Envy of Power 105 talking about his partnership with the Pinas, okay? Casey would buy undervalued homes in Paterson and flip them or rent them for positive cash flow. He's saying in 2019, they basically all got together to promote the Taylor Apartments investment to Barone and Martini. That September, Cesar Pina sent Martini a formation certificate and a stock purchase agreement to purchase 25% of the apartments to own and develop the project. And the wife had the remaining interest in the property. But according to the lawsuit, the Pinas told them their project was already funded with $2.5 million. All right, from Jennifer and a construction loan of $3.5 million. The $5.6 million estimated construction cost would be covered by the investment and construction loan. And Martini's investment would have covered the cost overruns and operating costs until the units were rented and sold. After having lunch with Casey and Cesar Pina, Perone was convinced to buy into the project. Cesar Pina asked for $1 million investment for 25%. Barone didn't want to invest that much money. The suit says instead it was agreed for $500K to get a 12.5% stake. According to the Pinas, the $7 million in then existing assets and Barone's $500K were more than sufficient to cover all the costs to complete the Taylor Apartments project and to fund operating costs until the whole thing, all the units have been sold and rented. The suit says Martini's signature was needed to add as a new member to the company, but wasn't immediately provided. Cesar Pina emailed Barone documents that supposedly contain Martini's signature. The suit claims that this was a forgery. Cesar told Barone there were construction delays because of COVID. He said Barone said in late 2021, Cesar Pina told him construction had begun and would continue straight through 2022 until it was finished, but the pandemic sent prices through the roof. They would make more money than previously stated. The lawsuit claims that Martini asked about the construction status and was told it was continuing, when in fact no construction was done in 2020 and most of 2021. Pina assured the men the project would be completed in 22, but continued to push the completion date back. When Martini drove past the project site in August 2022, no progress had been made in over a year. The lawsuit claimed only the foundation had been poured. Martini repeatedly demanded his money back, but Cesar kept putting him off and not answering. Barone invested $300K and flipped to Dow, another real estate investment trust from the Pinas, all right, which the suit said used familiar fraudulent tactics. Apparently, Flip to Dow would allow people to use crypto to own fractional shares of a building for as little as $100,000. For as little as $100, you can buy a tiny little piece. You can buy a couple bricks, not them kind of bricks, in crypto. And it says the Pinas didn't stop with the Taylor Apartments. Apparently emboldened, they then solicited Barone and Martini to purchase fractional shares of real estate, marketing the investment opportunity as a real estate investment trust. Okay, was that certified? As part of the agreement, each owning member was given the right to review the books, and the company was required to provide quarterly annual reports, which the suit said the Pinas never did. The lawsuit says Barone contacted Casey to confront him after seeing an Instagram post about how the Pinas and Casey were running a $13 million plus Ponzi scheme. He contacted a co-founder and attorney who was allegedly involved in Flip to Dow, but they told him they were not. Several other people began posting on socials to report that they had been defrauded. Barone demanded his money back, and the lawsuit says the Pinas have not responded to further requests for money to be returned, and they appear to not even be living at their home in Franklin Lakes. All right? They said Instagram post showed Caesar's wife in Miami. All right? The Instagram account is no longer acting, but their couple's account posted a video. It's saying as far as Barone can determine, the Pinas took his money for their own personal uses or to pay off victims for earlier schemes. So this is getting deep, and Envy is getting dragged into this, okay? And these aren't the sort of people you want to play with, man. You know, Anthony Martini, he's apparently, you know, a very successful manager and label owner. So he was apparently getting money managing clients like Tiger and Lil Dicky, okay? He ended up investing into an independent record label, Commission Records. He built it into one of the top 10 ranking urban labels. He's had a whole lot of success, right? He's invested into tech solutions in the music business. He signed the world's first Avatar rapper. And, you know, under his leadership, Royalty Exchange closed 1,000 plus deals on songs from Jay-Z to Slipknot and paid out over $90 million to artists and songwriters, okay? So he was trying to invest. He saw DJ Envy talking about this real estate thing. He's thinking, bro, this is going to be my next play, all right? And it all went left. But it wasn't just rich, multi-millionaire industry moguls that were getting scammed out of their money, all right? Now, Spencer Cornelia, he's a great YouTuber. He's almost like a CoffeeZilla light. Okay, exposing all kinds of frauds and schemes and scams on the internet. Okay, in his video about the topic, okay, it actually turned out that allegedly they had actually scammed an SA victim out of their settlement money in this real estate fraud. Look at this.
August 2022, Caesar met the next victim we'll label EB, who had just received a settlement agreement for being abused and SA'd. Wanting to solidify a secure financial future for her and the kid on the way, she decided to meet with Caesar, who promoted himself as being a real estate mogul with significant experience and success. Property number one for their partnership would be 470 River Street in Paterson, New Jersey, where she'd provide $250,000 and receive 30% profit within 5 months. Caesar bought this property in March 2014 for only $90,000. Property number two would be 523 Park Ave in Paterson, New Jersey, where she'd provide another $250,000. Caesar bought this property September 2018 for only $225,000. Property number three would be 149-151 Manchester Ave in Paterson, New Jersey, where she'd provide $100,000. Caesar bought this property in April 2019 for $140,000 using a construction loan of $256,000. A month later, Caesar notified EB that he had another investment opportunity for her where she'd contribute an additional $150,000. Despite taking money from these investors, Caesar couldn't pay his credit card bill. On September 9, 2022, Amex filed a complaint against Caesar Pina and Pina Management LLC for defaulting on their credit card bill. Amex
So he's taking in all this money from people, right? And he can't even cover his own credit card bill. How crazy is that? So apparently after this, okay, there was another expose. A YouTuber called The Credit Dude would basically talk about being scammed for 6 figures by Caesar, okay, on Tony the Closer's YouTube, okay? He would open up about everything.
About it.
Six
You heard
figures?
about it?
Damn, spitting 6 figures?
6 figures.
Like 100,000 or 200,000?
Closer to 2.
Damn. Is he black, white, or Hispanic?
We'll leave that for
No, nigga. No, nigga.
Yeah, see?
Is he
I was
black?
like, I knew if I come on here, that somehow it was gonna come up.
Is he black? Is he white, or is he Hispanic?
He's a male.
Is he black? Is he white, or is he Hispanic?
Hispanic. Yep.
No fucking way.
Yep.
So look, Tony the Closer is now going to become part of this whole thing, okay? And if you want to know a little bit more about him, okay, he's an interesting character. NFL all-star turned serial entrepreneur, the resilience of an NFL star, how Tony the Closer never fumbles, okay? He was an NFL sports star, okay? A lot of these guys lose all of their money, but he actually turned it around, okay? He invested well. He is now a celebrated, accomplished real estate entrepreneur, okay? But he had to find out the hard way, okay? He was been in serious setbacks. A former associate reneged on his end of a business deal related to a live event by allegedly breaching a contract, okay? So he knows what it's like to get burned in these things, okay? And now he's got a sweeping empire of real estate ventures. Tony's ethos is rooted in empowering people from all walks of life. It sounds similar to some of the write-ups that we've seen on DJ Envy's page. It says his lifelong goal is to educate people on real estate and financial literacy with a dedication to uplift the black community, okay? He's purporting to be the real deal, the non-scammy version of what else is going on out here, okay? So he basically has got a whole bunch of different things that he's got going on to try and teach people about real estate. You know, he's apparently closed thousands of deals, generated an astounding 10 million plus in auto and real estate sales. I don't know if you count auto sales. I don't know if you're empowering anybody to buy a car, unless everybody's buying Porsche 911s. I don't think anybody's coming up too far off buying cars. But anyway, in his career, he's coached 20,000 people, teaching them the ropes of the real estate world. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not calling out Tony the Closer, but I feel like these guys, it's all about the numbers. Okay, when you see these guys scamming, it's like, oh, he's coached over 20. Coaching 20,000 people don't mean nothing. All right. They be looking for just the biggest number that they can put up on screen. Okay, I'm not Tony the Closer seems a lot more legit, but at the same time, my alarm bells start ringing when people talk about I've coached 20,000 people, I've facilitated $210 million worth of deals in auto sales. Wait, what? That don't mean nothing. But anyway, fair play to him. Okay, he's helped his students rack up more than $1.2 million by flipping real estate contracts. You know, he's basically the real deal. Okay. And so basically in an effort to kind of clear his name, okay, DJ Envy actually hopped on a live with Tony the Closer to try and defend himself, okay? And Tony would basically call out Envy and say that his 10 seminars were basically a tool for funneling people into paying for an expensive membership, a mentorship.
See, because I pay attention, right? You had a major problem with people who had live events and then they didn't teach much information, and then they do these upsells for higher mentorships, et cetera, investment opportunities. Well, it seems as if that's what's now happened with you and Caesar, because now you're hearing the same exact thing that you said that you didn't like, which was these very outlandish prices as far as mentorships and plus $1 million plus people saying they've been defrauded out of money. So I'm looking at you and I'm saying, hey, you got a large platform. How are you any different than with the people that you said you didn't like, the other people that were frauds?
So Envy would basically deny being a fraud, and he would kind of try and defend himself, and he's been trying to distance himself from a lot of what's been going on in this whole thing.
We had people who do wholesale, which I don't do wholesale. I can't explain wholesale, but we had somebody there to break down what wholesale was and how to get it done. Now, all those pieces of people explaining that, niggas usually would have to pay money for that, but it was all free. There was never an upsell. There was no, well, to learn this information, you have to do this. There was never an upsell in any of my thing. The only thing that was ever sold was some T-shirts that said landlord, trap lord. And that's anybody that's been on any of my seminar. There was no upsells. We didn't upsell shit. There was not. an upsell. There was nothing that you can buy then at any of my seminars. So the upsell thing, well, there was no upsell. So
look, he denied doing upsells, all right, but basically, you know, being around this, and I personally do feel like it's kind of not right when he's talking about, look, I didn't know about this kind of deal, so we had somebody come in and teach people about it. Well, if you don't know about this, if you don't know the consequences of it, should you really be promoting it? Should you really be allowing other people to have your platform when you can't even vouch for, you know, the benefit of what they're teaching, what they're preaching? If you don't really know nothing about it, then should you really be spreading the word about it? Now, Tony would basically go on to point out that the only reason a lot of people are investing and getting sucked into these things are because of DJ Envy's profile, because of his likeness, because of the fact that he is a famous figure and he is putting his face, he is putting his reputation on the line and promoting these things.
Anytime I see Caesar never speaks. I only hear you speak. So
no, Caesar definitely speaks.
Every time we see an ad, I see he's looking over like this, and you are actually doing the presentation. So he's not like the person that's the spokesperson. So I'm just like, but just being real. Just being real, when we look at it, like this man wouldn't have, nobody would fuck with Caesar if it wasn't for DJ Envy. Like, I wouldn't know who he was if it wasn't for you. Like, most of these people wouldn't, you know, when you say I'm attaching you, it's because you marketed them. Everywhere we see Flippin' NJ, there's DJ Envy. So if I'm just looking at it and I'm saying, if this is a guy that I'm investing with, I'm investing based off your likeness.
Well, see, this the thing, I'm not anybody's babysitter. I don't tell people what to do and what not to do. Now, Caesar's a guy that got me into real estate, and he got me into real estate where I purchased a lot of homes.
So here's the interesting thing, right? He's saying, look, I don't tell people what to do and what not to do, but he's not realizing the influence that he has by appearing with these people. You are, you know, there's an unspoken approval, all right? I'm not going to be on, at least knowingly, I'm not going to be on posting no Instagram with no dude that's got loads of scams going on, loads of bad things that my audience could potentially find out about. I see these guys promoting all kinds of things on Instagram. Oh, tap in with this guy, trader. This guy's a sick trader. I think all of those trading things are great scams, bro, because, like, look, I invest in stocks. All that trading, day trading stuff is bollocks. You're going to lose your money. Okay, and a lot of these guys are getting paid off the back of your deposits. But Envy is kind of trying to distance himself to this, and he's saying, look, my only business that I've got with Caesar is seminars. He got me into real estate. He done helped me get my thing going. But again, it's like what he is doing for you and the benefits and the advice that he's given to you as DJ Envy that's part of what's going on, that's different to the advice and the opportunities that he's offering to the public. And maybe DJ Envy was ignorant in all of this, or maybe, you know, he just didn't realize the influence that he had. But realistically, his association, he put this guy on. I would have never heard of this guy unless DJ Envy associated with him. So he basically goes on to say that just look, right, it was only, we just had seminars going on. I wasn't involved in his actual scam, his fraud. I got wrapped up in this thing. But essentially, you know, his influence was used for nefarious activities.
And because of that, he made me a lot of money where I own these houses and I have tenants. And I was excited about it. And I was excited about it because not too many people that look like me are buying property. So I told Caesar, let's teach people how to do it. Now, we taught a lot of people how to do it. We taught a lot of people how to buy homes. We taught a lot of people about FHA and things that people had no idea about. Now, that's my business with Caesar. That's my business with a lot of people. Now, if you go outside of that and want to jump in on your own, that has nothing to do with the kid. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not part of those deals. I'm not part of anything that goes on. I could be a partner with Elon Musk, and me and Elon Musk do Teslas together. Now, if Elon Musk decides he wants to do his space property and he does some foul shit on the space property, people are like, oh, well, I invested because Envy was part of the Tesla. No, that ain't.
Well, here's why it's different, right? Because Elon Musk is already famous. He's already known for being a successful businessman. We haven't really heard anything about this guy until he started popping up around DJ Envy. And now, as the conversation goes on, Tony basically, you know, talks back and forth, and he basically kind of, you know, goes back and forth with DJ Envy to talk about some of these things, and he basically calls out Envy for trying to distance himself from Cesar Pina, and basically, you know, he explains other people have been scammed, and Envy just kind of, he crashes out. He basically says, nah, Tony's a clout chaser, you know, he's not, you know, he's not got anything to do with, you know, what's going on. He doesn't know what he's talking about, all of this kind of stuff. And it's really not a great look, because we kind of trust Tony a little bit more at this stage based on his background.
Distance yourself because you don't want to be implicated with it. You know that he's been fucking people over. He fucked you over. He owes you money. You told me last night he owes you money. Like, this ain't me making up shit. This ain't me just coming out and attacking anybody. This is real people.
No,
it's like, even like your man, the credit dude, that was a part of y'all whole situation, bro. He's out of 150,000, and nigga was out here talking about committing suicide. See, you can't play me like I'm the nigga that's just clout chasing and doing some bullshit. I'm really talking about people. Credit dude called me talking about he's in fear of his life. Like, he like, yo, I'm in fear my life, and these niggas took my money. I got 7 or 8 DMs of people that's $400,000 or $500,000, bro. Last night on the phone, he told me, yo, this nigga owe me over $500,000. Don't do me now. You're gonna try to get online and make me look like shit, because then I'm gonna come back with
and this is the thing. You could come back with whatever you want.
I'm gonna come back with the
I just got off the phone with credit dude. I just got off the phone with credit dude, and credit dude told me that you were making things up. I just got off the phone with credit dude, and you said it's making things up. I just got off the phone with him.
There's no way that you're gonna tell me.
You are clout chasing, because the main thing that you did was fuck up is you added my name. And that's what you did. You added my name because that's what it was.
He owe you money.
I did the real thing, and I came on here and spoke to you like a man. I didn't talk behind your back, and that's what real niggas do. When we
So look, this is where it all falls apart, right? And he's saying, I spoke to the credit dude. He said you was making things up. But really, DJ Envy's is looking a little bit pressed, all right? And basically, you know, this then, you know, expanded beyond, you know, DJ Envy's world. It spilled out into the wider hip-hop interviewer platform world. And Joe Budden would basically call him out too, and he would break down on his podcast the exact scam that was actually going on behind the scenes. Look at this.
But boy, is Tony the closer convincing. And what he's saying is that Caesar, not Envy, Caesar has been running around and taking money from people, scam. Selling people on something, taking their money and running off, never to be seen or heard from. That's what Tony the closer is saying. Now, he did hit me, but I left it alone. But he kept going. Tony hit me, waved me in a private in the room to talk about, you know, but I like to watch it bubble first. And boy, did it bubble. That number is rumored to be 8 figures now.
So he's saying that there's 8 figures that were actually taken from people, and it was all a mess, okay? And Joe Budden would later on warn DJ Envy about this being a scam publicly. He would let everybody know. He'd ring the alarm bell and say, bro, you were embroiled in a real mess, all right?
Wow. People. When I first got into real estate, I called 3 people. I called Clue, I called Fabulous, I called Joe Budden. Right? My Desert Storm family. And I said, hey, guys, I'm doing real estate. This is something that I think that, you know, you should invest a little bit of money and try it out, and that way you can do it. Joe Budden told me it was a Ponzi scheme, and I was going to go to jail.
God, please forgive. Lord, forgive me. I'm not laughing at nobody going to jail.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I'm not laughing at nobody going to jail. Please forgive.
The irony is a little funny. But he left a lot out of this.
So look, Joe basically, like, even Envy himself says back then, all right, Joe was warning me. He said it was a Ponzi. This was a mess, all right? This wasn't what it should have been, okay? And basically, Joe really put the screws on DJ Envy and said, look, you didn't even have to have knowledge to the fact that this was a Ponzi scheme to be complicit in what's going on. You got sucked into this. You know, you brought into the allure, and you ended up being complicit in a Ponzi that maybe you didn't, even if you didn't realize it was a Ponzi, that's what it was. That's what it worked out.
You don't need to have knowledge to be complicit. That's not true.
I think so. Because are you really complicit?
Yes.
How?
If after investigation they can show, well, first of all, if the sum gets too large, there's going to be big investigation.
Sure, it's a fact. That's a fact.
And when that investigation happens, all they're going to look to see is, did Envy take 1 penny from an illegal operation?
Sure,
they're not going to look to see if he knew, if he didn't know. If they can prove he took a penny, then he's in.
Yes.
He's down.
No, Joe.
So look, all right, Joe Budden was really putting the screws on him, all right, and basically this would just spread from here. 2023, this whole story got popping. Okay, October the 11th, the alleged scam would even make the news. Okay, and they would claim that Envy was indeed promoting that
Jersey.
scam.
We invested $200,000 and looks like we're never going to get it back.
Jose Santiago and his wife Jessica Ortiz say they believed investing in this neighborhood of Patterson would be their ticket to the American dream.
That's the reason why I got into real estate, so we can actually start flipping properties, buying properties, so we can have something for our kids in the future.
The couple says they connected with entrepreneur Caesar after seeing him on social media with DJ Envy.
He's advertising this all over the radio and on television. I've seen shows of him all over the place, so I thought this was legit.
The pitch.
That's why this is so bad, right? Because even if DJ Envy didn't know that this was a scam, that he promoted and amplified this to such a level that he's going to be in a lot of trouble just by even, just by the fact of even being that famous and pushing something like this. Because your influence does wield power, man. Like, I'm not on DJ Envy's level, but I do realize my influence wields power. And I've been offered crypto scams to promote and stuff like that, coin offerings, and I'm just not into it, unless it was something I was passionate about, that I had knowledge about, I understood that there was a long-term benefit to this, I wouldn't want to get involved in it, right? And it says the fact that Envy hasn't been forced to resign from the Breakfast Club after all of this is really crazy. People saying, if you had 200 grand, why wouldn't you flip your own house? Well, you're thinking I'm going to get in business with these guys that are up M's, I'm trying to get to the next level. Never trust a DJ named Envy. That's what they're saying. And this is an interesting comment. It says, this is what happens when you put your money on people with status, i.e. celebrities, instead of doing your own due diligence, real research, and checking on proven results over a matter of years. All right. And I think that's really important because on the one hand, okay, it's easy to point the finger, but on the other, like, look, I don't invest money in no BS without looking into it, okay? I invest in stocks. I invest in famous stocks. I talk to people who are actually successful in these fields, get their advice, do my own research, compare it. Some people have suggested I do some shit that's turned out to be garbage, and I've not, you know, I'm not bitten the bait, and I've been glad. Sometimes people have hit me, said, hey, there's a little coin you should invest. I throw a little couple $100 into a coin, and that shit ends up being worth nothing, all right? So it does happen. But you should always do your due diligence, man. It says they should all be in jail for this scam. Envy used his platform to take people's money, even if he didn't receive cash in hand. He was the face and the recruiter of potential victims, man. And so eventually the heat would get so hot, it would actually be the same day that this news report dropped, that Envy would actually hop on the Breakfast Club, address the allegations, and Charlemagne would even tell him, yo, chill out, listen to your attorneys, and keep your mouth shut. You're doing too much talking. Let's see what he said.
From what I read in actual court papers, I didn't see that. They said that all these people are saying that they met Caesar because of you.
Right, and they're saying that
nobody accusing you of taking no money.
To the point where if you read the court documents, Caesar wrote an affidavit that says DJ Envy, Rashawn Casey, had no knowledge of me investing people's money.
I saw that too.
He wasn't there. He wasn't part of those conversations. He wasn't even nowhere in those meetings. And those are documents that's out there. So if we're going to talk about truth, let's talk about the truth. And those are the documents out there.
Well,
and I know
you can't talk about the truth yet because your lawyers don't want you talking at all. So the smart thing to do is, I understand you want to say something to the listeners, and I'm sure the listeners appreciate it. But man, just wait until all the dust settles. And when all the dust settles, then we can get on this radio and have a real conversation. Until then, I don't think you should be saying any of this. But that's just me.
It's good advice from Charlemagne, man. He probably knows. He probably has a good idea of how to deal with serious allegations and things like that. But anyway, the less said, the better. Eventually, the New Jersey District Attorney would charge Cesar Pina with a multi-million-dollar investment fraud scheme. Okay, and here it is. New Jersey real estate investor and online influencer charged him multi-million-dollar investment fraud scheme. So that was exactly 1 week after DJ Envy was on the radio trying to talk, but then he shouldn't really have been talking. And, it basically says that Cesar Pina was arrested that day for committing a multi-million-dollar Ponzi-like scheme. I already explained to you kind of why it was a Ponzi, allegedly, and all of that stuff. That was later on in this document. He was charged by complaint with 1 count of wire fraud. He was due to appear in front of the judge in federal court and was released on $1 million secured bond. So he was allowed out on electronic ankle monitor. And they're basically saying that this was an investment fraud, a fraud of greed. Okay, and that he essentially solicited dozens of individuals to provide him millions of dollars to purchase and invest in residential properties. Instead of sharing the profits, he defrauded his investors in a Ponzi. Okay, plain and simple, the defendant ran a fraudulent scheme, falsely representing the nature of the business and lied about potential returns to bilk unsuspecting victims out of millions of dollars. Okay, he allegedly offered a ridiculously high rate of return and took the millions he got and invested it in himself. I wonder what he bought. I wonder whether he was buying properties, whether he was buying luxury goods, whether he was just holding on to that money, okay? But DJ Envy's role in this was actually identified specifically in the criminal complaint, okay? So this is the criminal complaint, okay? So he's mentioned here, okay, it's under number 2. Pina and his business partner, a well-known disc jockey and radio personality, Individual One, which would be DJ Envy, operated a company that conducted real estate seminars around the country. Together, they used Individual One celebrity to promote various real estate enterprises that Pina controlled. During real estate seminars, private one-on-one sessions, advertisements, public appearances, and otherwise, Pina represented that he was a highly successful real estate investor and owned thousands of properties in multiple states and had business relationships with numerous celebrities. Through these efforts, Pina developed a significant following of his own that included hundreds of thousands of social media followers. Okay, so they're basically saying outright that it was Envy that blew him up. Okay, so he was arrested. All right, the news hit that he was arrested. We already saw it in that indictment. Okay, he was released on $1 million bond, but his arrest was big news. And basically, Caesar himself, all right, he actually came out to basically deny that Envy was a victim. This says the real estate developer who goes by Flipping New Jersey denied any wrongdoing throughout the clip while refuting Envy's claim that he, like many others, fell victim to Pina's alleged Ponzi scheme. Said, I'm at the point now that I can't communicate with anybody because now everybody's a potential co-conspirator, everybody's a witness, everybody's a victim. Nobody's an investor anymore, everybody is a victim. DJ Envy's attorney's defense that DJ Envy is a victim, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. Me and him were partners in real estate seminars. We were partners in a couple of real estate transactors. That's it. He's not a victim. He was my partner and he was an investor. Now, that's actually not a bad look for DJ Envy. Okay, and apparently after all of that talking from Joe Budden, okay, allegedly Caesar Pina's brother, okay, actually tried to press him.
So he's standing there, he pulls his phone out, and that's what you hear. Buttons. Yo, please don't tape me. Button, please don't tape me, like you saw.
Peaks up, what's up? What's up? Joe Buttons? What's up, Buttons? What's up? Peaks up?
How many dudes was it?
It was two, but they had some other niggas that was
in the top.
But listen, dog, I say what I say to them, and then he tapes as we leave. But that was the end of that.
Hey, Buttons, what's up? Peaks up.
And like I said, before I got home, that shit was uploaded on the net. Like, what do you want me to do, man? I'm from the 90s. Like, these internet games, these clout chaser games.
I agree.
He almost got himself in a pickle.
Yeah, you stupid. Yeah.
I'm telling y'all out there that these internet games, they do have real life ramifications. Yeah. So they stay in a.
So look, Joe Budden was saying that he was ready to slide after being pressed by Caesar's Goons, man. And DJ Envy's lawyer would actually come out and reveal to the world that he was actually ready to cooperate. All right, this came out, said DJ Envy said he's ready to testify against Caesar Pina if necessary. He ready to go full 6'9", all right? He ready to bite the cheese, maybe order a bologna sandwich. But at the end of the day, he's not a criminal, right? He's not a gangster. Fair play. Like, why not? Okay, he needs to set his name right. It says, we're aware that on December the 20th, 2023, the court issued an order compelling the production of documents demanded in those subpoenas. Envy's lawyer, Daniel Marchese, wrote at this time, I'm happy to report that on Friday, January the 5th, 2024, we forwarded our responses and document production to counsel for the trustee in these aforementioned cases. Given the professional back and forth between counsel and I since then, it would appear that indeed the responses and the production were acknowledged and received by the trustee. With this writing, I therefore confirm my client's compliance with your honor's order as I offered trustee's counsel, and I will likewise offer to the court that should sworn testimony in any form be needed to affirm my client's responses and production, he would readily oblige. He is ready to take the stand, and rightly so, man, because it's really not cool for him to get wrapped up in this whole thing. And after this, things will get even worse in July 2025 when more paperwork was filed, making it official, and there were even more wild allegations in here that this was a multi-million-dollar investment fraud scheme, laundering drug money, and there was even claims that a politician had been bribed. And individual one would be mentioned once again, DJ Envy, a well-known disc jockey and radio personality who resided in New Jersey. It said that the goal of the scheme was for Pina to enrich himself and his associates by soliciting and obtaining millions of dollars of victims' investor funds through false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, promises, and the concealment of facts. Pina and DJ Envy, individual one, operated a company that conducted real estate seminars around the country. In real estate seminars, private one-on-one sessions, ads, public appearances, social media postings, and other oral and written communications. Pina represented that he was a highly successful real estate investor, owning thousands of properties in multiple states, and had business relationships with various celebrities. Through these efforts, Pina developed a significant following that included hundreds of thousands of social media followers, which he used to solicit investors for his companies. And then later on, it said Pina and his associates misrepresented victims' funds for personal expenses. He's allegedly spending it on luxury clothing, vacations, luxury vehicles, beauty supplies, and to pay for business expenditures unrelated to the victims' investments. Okay. And they would even claim here that as part of the scheme, Pina gave a stream of cash payments, checks, and campaign contributions and other benefits and things of value to a different person in exchange for individual two's official actions, assistance, and influence in favor of Pina's real estate projects, to include Old School 5. The stream of bribes that Pina paid to individual 2 included multiple cash and check payments totaling approximately $50,000, which individual 2 received directly from Pina or from individual 3 at Pina's direction. So it claims here that this was a bribery scheme, okay? And he also funneled financial benefits to this person by providing real estate individuals to this person who is a licensed realtor as well. And as a result, individual 2 stood to earn real estate commissions from the sale of Caesar's property. And the authorities would also allege that Pina also conspired to launder illicit funds, including from the sales of controlled substances for various individuals he knew that were engaged in criminal activities. Pina further laundered money that an individual acting at the discretion of law enforcement represented was drug proceeds as part of a sting operation. So he was apparently mixing the clean money with the dirty money from the streets and just creating a whole mess. Now, a little bit of time would pass, okay, and in July 2025, Caesar Pina would plead not guilty to bribery, fraud, and the other charges brought about by the alleged Ponzi scheme, okay? So he basically said, yo, look, I'm pleading not guilty. It's not true. It's not me. Yada, 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 yada. But things have gotten real for him, okay? They recap all of these charges. Okay, he allegedly begun the operation in 2017, all of this stuff, and the indictment is actually crazy. Okay, and he's potentially facing a serious problem. The indictment sets Peanut on the path to potential jail time and having to fork over cash. Each wire fraud count could land him up to 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. The money laundering charges have the same potential prison time, but the fines are steeper at $500K, and the bribery charges are a bit lighter at 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. And now things popped off once again in a crazy way, okay, when your boy Dame Dash, okay, everybody's favorite business magnate, all right, he basically popped out on the Breakfast Club and he alleged that Envy is actually being investigated on RICO charges, okay? So he went even further.
Like you, that's crazy. There's a lot of people like you that are gay that pretend they're not. And that's not fair because you're running around. Stop. You're here, you're representing a black man, and I don't want white people.
Black men can't be gay?
You're representing.
Hold on, answer the question. Black men can't be gay?
Black men that are gay should say they're gay.
Well, I'm not gay.
You are. You're gay. Anyway, now let me talk to you. Let me ask you. What would you rather do? Have a repo or a RICO?
Neither, but RICO.
But you're getting investigated for a RICO. Am I? That's what I'm saying.
He said, would you rather have a repo or RICO? Would you rather have your money taken away from you in a repo and be in debt, or would you rather get RICO'd by the feds? And Dame Dash really be spilling the beans on him, man.
To the internet.
That's why I'm talking to you about it. That's what I'm talking to you about. Wait. How should I know? I never heard of you.
So when we ask the question,
yo, I'm talking to him now. See what you're doing? Girls do that. Let me say this. You acting like a girl.
You move like an old auntie. You an old Harlem auntie.
I could punch you right in your face like a grown man. I won't, and you won't do shit.
See, Dame, this is what you're Patty. So just so you know,
I've seen you run. I've seen you. I'm not saying I will. I'm saying no.
So look, he's threatening to snuff people, all right, for even putting him down, okay? But he would go on, okay, he would basically go on to say that Envy will snitch if they come for him. We already know that he's willing to cooperate, but Dame Dash called him out big time.
Say on here are not true, a lot. And I'm saying what I'm seeing in the algorithm is that you're being investigated with it for RICO, and that there were people around you that are getting charged. So let me ask you a question. I don't expect you. Bottom line is, I already know you're going to fold if they come for you. You tell them. We already know that.
The SEC, FBI,
are you crazy?
You have to prove facts because you can't prove facts.
I can't?
No.
Everything I say, I'll be having on tape.
It's not factual.
What's not factual that I said?
Nothing that you said is factual.
So I'm not the chairman of Revolt?
I don't know.
So look, he's saying that he's capping, all right, but Dame Dash would then hop on other people's platforms, okay? He would pop out on another interview for the American New Network, and he would basically expose the paperwork and say that Envy is a certified cheese gobbler.
But it did break down that you are on that RICO, and that, in fact, if you don't or do certain things, it's going to mean that you are, in fact, a rat. And I knew that you would fold anyway, but allegedly. But this is what the paperwork, and I'm going to play it so y'all can hear it.
Anybody could go online and type in Cesar H. Pena. When they do, they'll see links from the Department of Justice.gov. They can simply open up the two links that you see here. The first one shows the New Jersey real estate investor and online influencer charged with committing multi-million-dollar investment fraud scheme, laundering drug proceeds, and bribing a New Jersey politician. If you simply scroll down, you will see the individual one. Individual one is clearly described as Pena's business partner, a well-known disc jockey and radio personality who resided in New Jersey.
So look, Dame Dash saying he got the paperwork, man. We already seen the paperwork. We already know what's going on. But everybody would basically get it and give their opinion on it. Now, street certified news would look over this, and he would claim that, look, DJ Envy's a civilian, he can't rat. And I do kind of agree
like we
with that.
said, man, DJ Envy is a DJ. He's a regular guy. He's allowed to say, hey, I was running a clean business, and this dude was doing some lame shit, send his ass to jail. If you running a clean business, that's cool. Now, if you was running a dirty business with Caesar, and now you acting like, oh, I don't know nothing, that's snitching. And I think that's what Dame is saying. I don't want to say that because, I don't like saying shit that how niggas get tied up. So if DJ Envy clean, he allowed to be like, hey, I ain't had nothing to do with it. And they would name him individual one in the paperwork. But if the nigga dirty and he snitching, they could also be naming him individual one in the paperwork. So that's up to Envy. Like, I don't know DJ Envy like that.
So he's making it clear that, look, if Envy knew about what was going on and they was actually doing an illegal enterprise together, then it is snitching if he talks to the feds. But if he really was schemed, if he was scammed, if he didn't know what was going on, and he's upset about what happened, then it's not really telling now. The last thing that happened on this was just about a week ago where DJ Envy appeared on Vlad TV. And in this one, he claims that he isn't cooperating, but he also said that he was the one who was scammed for $500,000 5 years ago and that he was so burnt he won't ever partner with anyone again.
So you're actually going to cooperate in this case?
There's nothing to cooperate.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've never been asked anything. They went through my phones like everything else, emails.
I mean, it seemed like he said through his lawyer he was willing to cooperate on any terms, but he's saying that's not happening. There's nothing to cooperate on.
Text, that's it. But there's nothing to cooperate. I had no clue what was going on.
Honestly, sometimes I find it so lame when these guys, you know, basically just, you know, from the culture or whatever, have this whole thing like, oh, never cooperate. Like, he's kind of twisting his words around here to make it seem like bro, just say you're cooperating, man. Like, you not in the streets. It doesn't matter. I would respect you more for saying, yeah, I'm trying to put this guy away. I'm trying to put him down for all the money that he allegedly took from people and scammed off the back of my goodwill. He fucked up my reputation. I'm trying to put him away. I would actually respect that more.
Right, because Cesar Pena said that you're innocent but not a victim. I'm not sure what that means, but just is what it is at this point.
Yeah, that's what he said.
All right. Yeah, I mean, how do you expect this whole thing to end with him?
I don't know. You know, this is the crazy thing. People think that I'm more involved than I am. I'm really not. I'm not charged, so I really don't know. And the reason he said I'm not a victim is we bought a school together. I gave him $500,000 5 years ago. I've never seen a return. I've never seen anything back. So hopefully I can get my money back. But like I said, it's an open case, so can't discuss.
So he's saying that he was wrapped up in that whole fraudulent scheme to build the school that never happened, that those other guys, the music executive, got wrapped up into. So he is basically saying he's a victim here too.
No, man, I feel you. I mean, does it make you feel these days that you don't want to partner with people, that you just got to be very, very careful with who you do business with?
I'll never partner with anybody again in my life.
Nice, you want to have partners. Vlad TV is totally owned by myself.
I'll never
no partners, no loans.
I'll never partner with anything. And that was seminars, so I'll never partner with anybody again in my life.
So look, he's had his fingers burnt, man. It is a really bad look. It really has trashed his reputation. It's very unfortunate. I don't have anything against DJ Envy. I don't really want to talk down on him, you know, unduly. I think he did screw up. If anybody could prove that he had knowledge of this thing being a scam, I think, you know, he would have gone down with Cesar Pena. I think he was probably used. He was what we would probably call a useful idiot who really didn't know what he was getting himself into. He was just useful. He was just used and abused and sucked into this situation. And unfortunately, it has caused a lot of drama for him. So that's kind of everything about this case. You know, if the case goes to trial, if we hear any updates, if there's any more telling, anything else goes on, any dockets filed, I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you guys updated. I've been waiting a while to dig into this story, and I've wanted to get quite a lot of links together and just give you the full picture. So I hope you found that breakdown useful and interesting. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and let me know what you think down below about this whole DJ Envy debacle. And don't invest in no real estate projects. If people telling you they're going to get 20, if anybody's telling you they're going to get any more than 4%, all right, you should scrutinize them very closely. That's just the facts, all right? If anybody is promising you investment returns of 7 or 8%, you should look at that very, very suspiciously, okay? If it ain't no JP Morgan, you know, if it ain't a serious institutional organization, you should be suspicious, all right? Because them 7, 8% returns, those are the only things that you can get by going out there yourself and doing due diligence. People do get 8% returns in property, but that's them finding, sourcing their own deals, managing things properly. You can get 8+% returns in the stock market, but that's through diligent picking stocks specifically, having a strategy, having an understanding of what goes on. So look, if you want investment advice, man, I legally probably can't provide investment advice, but maybe I'll do a video on you know, investments that I've made, things that I invest in, things I've made money on, things I've lost money on. If you want to hear that, let me know. A lot of people have been asking me to, like, I should do a course on YouTubing and stuff, but I'm still undecided on whether or not that would actually be useful. But I do want to share the love a little bit. Like, I want to maybe open up about some of the investments I've made. Not no investment advice, not no scheme, but just being open and transparent about some of the things that have actually improved my life and some of the things to avoid, because I've had my fingers burned too. But anyway, if you're interested in that, let me know down in the comments. I'll keep you guys updated on anything else that's coming out to do with this story, and I'll be back with another video very soon. Appreciate it. I'm out. Peace.